Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Voices Rising, the music of Wakanda Forever, the Marvel Cinematic Universe film from 2023, earlier this year. It feels so long ago. Or was it? It didn't come out in the fall. No. Man, it's been a while. No, it had to have happened in 22, because I think it got awards in 23, and then Quantumania was in February. Yeah, okay. That doesn't really matter. But this is sort of like the making of documentary. It's not one episode. It's not one like feature. It is actually a series of about 30-minute or so episodes, three of them. It's 30 minutes, 33, 22. So, but it explores three components of the creation of the soundtrack, as well as the parts of the world in which they were made. Of course, being that this is the music of Wakanda Forever, it is very much African music based. In the first episode, which is the only one I watched so far, I am going to add this. I'm going to do this right now. And I'm going to, it's part of a long list of things that I want to watch, but I will hardly ever get around to doing. But I just haven't less than an hour left on this. I might just watch the rest of it tonight. I don't know. I just wanted to get to talking about this. So basically in this, we get director Ryan Coogler and composer Ludwig Göransson, who I'm ashamed to say that I really didn't know his name, at least I thought I didn't know his music. He didn't come out of nowhere. I only really noticed him because he had made the very distinct soundtrack for The Mandalorian. Now, you have to understand, when it comes to Star Wars, everything is John Williams, for the most part. Like, a good chunk of the most memorable, identifiable music for Star Wars has always been John Williams. There have been other composers that have done other non-Skywalker saga films and also animated series and things like that that are not John Williams. But that made the tone, the style, and the elements that create the feel of The Mandalorian completely unique. That made the work of Ludwig Göransson stand out. The sound you hear when the Mandalorian steps on screen is now iconic for Star Wars fans. But in this, he's a white boy from Sweden or something like that. I can't remember. He's a white boy. But he's been good friends with Ryan Coogler for many years. He's done a number of different soundtracks for him, including the Creed trilogy. I believe he's done all the Creed films. But most notably, he has done the original Black Panther film and now Wakanda Forever. And this has a certain level of complexity that the first film with Black Panther did not have. Because I realized that while the first episode focuses very much on North African and South African rhythms and sounds and instruments and voices, and literally pop stars from that area, from that part of the world that we as Americans, for the most part, white boys, do not know about. Literally do not know about it. It's just, it doesn't come on the radio or whatever. It doesn't necessarily make it into, my Spotify mix or whatever. It's just stuff, unless you go looking for it. But they made a considerable use of the talents of the people of those regions, specifically Lagos in Nigeria, and I think South Africa, but there's a number of different artists, too long to list for me to retain in my brain. I looked at IMDb and it only mentions Ryan Coogler and Ludwig Göransson as the main people in this, even though you get to see a few interviews from some of the cast members regarding the music, and they talk about their just love of the artistry that is put into composing the music for this film. Now, the complexity I told you about, it should be an understood thing that, like, oh yeah, they're going to make use of African artists and musicians and instruments to build out the feel of Wakanda Forever. It makes absolute sense. But with the introduction of Namor, we've always said Namor, but in this, they've got to incorporate, for Wakanda Forever, they've got to incorporate the music of the region in which Namor exists, in Mexico, in Latin America, Central America, and the people who live underwater near that area in that part of the world. So they've got to incorporate that, and that's what the second episode is about. And then the third episode has them bring it all together at Abbey Road Studios in London. So the Beatles and like thousands of other people have recorded, but most notably the Beatles. So yeah, it's got quite a pedigree when it comes to. Imagine being just for the most part, the world may not know who you are. Artists in Lagos, in Nigeria, and suddenly you get like picked to go, hey, you know what? You want to be on the soundtrack for a major Marvel motion picture and have your stuff recorded and mixed in Abbey Road? It's kind of freaking cool. I know I would be honored if I had any musical talent whatsoever. So it's kind of neat to see all that come together this way. So you get to see how the music is made, how the sausage is made, as if that kind of thing completely bores you to death, this is not going to be any interest to you. You're not going to. This is a lot of people sitting around discussing music, about their love of music, and about choosing different sounds and instruments and everything else as to build something unique, something that is natural and meaningful to not just the story and the characters in the film, but I mean to the people from those parts of the world who would hear it and recognize it as genuine. So that is kind of super important. It's not, there's one point that Ludwig talks about, you usually just throw a needle drop in there, a popular song, or do a special mix of it, play it for 20 seconds, and everybody forgets about it. Well, okay, yes. They didn't, he poo-pooed that. By the way, there's 2 different soundtrack albums for each of the Black Panther films. It is the score, and then there's also the music inspired by. So you get both different things. Ludwig's more orchestral stuff, but also pop music. Pop music makes it sound so ephemeral, like it's not good, but it is. That these, if you want these soundtracks, they exist online or at stores. No, they don't have. Stores don't carry music anymore. They don't even carry DVDs anymore, in Best Buy at least. So yeah, search it out. It's worth your while. But yeah, if you're not really into how music is scored and how they discover new sounds and how they work together during a pandemic era creative process, yeah, you're not going to get into this at all. It's not going to be your thing at all. But if you're a musician, if you know what it's like to build something like this, you want to see what they do on something of this scale, bringing together artists from around the world, and music from around the world all into one soundtrack for one of those piffly superhero flicks. Well, guess what? This might be right up your alley. So I enjoyed it. I'm going to check out the other 2 episodes maybe tonight. Put it on, and yeah, I like seeing people create things. I like behind the scenes stuff. So that's why I'm into it. So let's pick tomorrow's episode.
144.
144. 144. All the way down to... Oh, nope. I thought we had a short here for a second, but nope. Just missed it. We have another documentary type thing. I have a feeling this has to do with food. I would think, considering the man's name in this. We'll see. But I have a feeling it also has to do with travel, because we've seen something else from this guy. So it's food and travel. That's your thing. You're going to enjoy Gordon Ramsay, Uncharted Showdown. Yep. We're going to watch at least one episode of that. Gordon Ramsay, Uncharted Showdown on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.